buy things that were considered non-essential. You know, I like to tell people, I don't sell anything that people have to have. I sell things that people want to have. I'm in the aspirational business. I sell things that people want to have. So that World War II generation hit their peak earning powers in the 60s and in the 70s. And guess what? The Maine Antique Digest, Antiques in the Arts Weekly, Antique Weekly, those were all newspapers, monthly or weekly newspapers that all started publishing in like 1972 to 1974. So there was a huge wave of publications catering to this generation. Now we're into that, now that generation is into the get rid of it mode. Seriously, you're downsizing or you're dying, you're moving to a retirement home, whatever, and all the collections that were built of average antiques and art that were built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s are now coming onto the market. So that's, along with eBay, along with the internet, there's more product available to aggregate. At the same time, if you look at that trend, if you look at that sort of general trend, you'll always see little blips where people who didn't have any money started getting into the antique market when things weren't popular. So, for example, what am I saying here? How about the arts and crafts collecting market? That market is a market that was that was strongest in the 80s and 90s, and now it's over. It's over. Arts and crafts market is very, very soft now. But people who were in their 30s and 40s were buying the arts and crafts pottery and arts and crafts furniture, stickly furniture, when those GI guys weren't interested in stickly. They didn't care about that stuff, but younger generation did. Now I like to say the millennials, right now modernism is, you know, mid-century modern and modern design is the red hot part of the market. Red hot part of the market. But it also was started by people who didn't have any money, who could buy, I like to say, that market is a market that started in the basement of their grandparents' house and discovered in the laundry room that formica top table with stainless steel legs that grandma was putting her detergent on. But that table was the one that she started off with after she and her husband bought that house on the GI Bill. It was a sleek, modern-looking thing in the 60s, and their grandson has rediscovered it in the basement of grandmother's house. And that's where the market is now. But it's also changing because money has gotten into that market now. People that are 40 and 50 that have money, particularly people in their 50s and 60s, have found that to be very appealing. And they're driving the market now. It's not the people in their 40s and 30s who brought grandma's table up from the basement. It's the people that have the money. Why is that? Is it just an investment, or is there some psychological thing going on there? I think that it's partly psychological. How many people here have downsized recently? A number of people. How many people moved from sort of a traditional home to a condominium? Nobody here yet? Well, I can speak from experience. Moving from a 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath suburban, 1920s house to a condominium overlooking the Ohio River near downtown Cincinnati, people in my building, many of whom did the same thing, they don't want the old stuff they had. They want to feel like, you know what, we're starting a new chapter in life. We're starting a new chapter in life, and let's get something more contemporary. And folks, the trend for people to be moving into condominiums, downsizing, moving into back into urban areas is a national trend. And that, I think, also is driving the modernism market. I don't think there's any question about that. Not grandma's table, but a Bugatti table or some great expensive piece of good modern furniture. So that's a long-winded answer to your question, but I think that we're seeing demographics come into play. We're seeing various economies come into play, but it's primarily a demographic thing. Other questions? Yes?
I have a related question. So you're talking about a generational shift in people's tastes and what eras they look back to that look interesting to them to buy. I'm wondering if people are buying different stuff altogether. That is, if you're a 30-year-old, rather than aspiring to buy a really nice painting when you expect to make some more money in 5 years, or rather than buying something that you recognize and love that used to be in your grandma's basement, what if you're not spending money on art at all?
You're not.
What if you're buying season tickets to baseball games or putting the money into your retirement or something else altogether?
Boy, you're not reading the newspaper. Nobody's saving any money. I think that, and again, I'm just speculating about a lot of this stuff because I really don't know. But there are reasons why a Swedish store named IKEA has been so successful. How many people have ever been to an IKEA superstore? A lot of people here. All right, that's interesting. So I never really got it until IKEA opened this giant, like 4,000 acre store in Cincinnati. I told my wife, when we were moving, I said, let's go ahead, maybe we can buy a bookcase from IKEA or whatever. IKEA is very, very clever as a company. Everybody knows you can only, when you go in, you can only go on the path, at least that's the one in Cincinnati. You can't sort of branch off like at Macy's and go to the bedding department. You have to go through. And what IKEA has done so brilliantly is sell a lifestyle. They sell lifestyles. So you walk into one of their living rooms and, it's all there. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You just say, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. And it costs $500. Who cares if it's going to last a month? I bought it, it all works together, and it cost me $500. That's why IKEA has been so successful with my kids and your kids and that generation, because the kids don't have to think about it, and it's cheap. And you know what? If you move to Denver, you just throw the thing away. You just throw that piece of crap away. It's very, very difficult, and it's frustrating for anyone who's in the auction business to understand why anyone would buy a piece of furniture from IKEA. Seriously, why? Here's what I have. This is real wood. Real wood. It's 150 years old. It will last another 150 or 500 years if you take care of it. And here's this thing from IKEA. Oh, and by the way, don't peel back the plastic laminate because you'll see that it's all pressed pieces of sawdust. There's no wood there. And if you get a bookcase, make sure you don't really put any books in it because the shelves will be bending like this in about a week. And then they'll be falling down. But the appeal of it is that you bought the lifestyle. And I think that my children's generation is so bombarded with so much information that anything that someone can do to make it easy, you don't have to think about it. How many times have you who here has ever bought a new couch? So everybody has, right? It's like buying a car. It's like, oh, you know, honey, I don't know, I don't really like that. Well, we could get it in this fabric. Well, yeah, but if we got it in that, I mean, it's a pain in the ass, really. But with IKEA, it's just, you know, you go in and there it is. I'll take that, that, and that. And I think they make it easy for people. Yes.
I'm on the same vein of who is purchasing. So I guess my thought about all of this has been, because I've thought about it prior to your visit today, and the fact that our parents couldn't have things. Things coming from Europe were a dream. I mean, how do you ever acquire something like that? I mean,